Slowly, slowly, slowly. Now get down, get down. Okay, that's it. Just a step down, just a step down, just a step down. Then that's where the woman, that's where the woman joins. Yes. Step down, just a step down, just a step down. Just a step down. Just a step down. One step. Get down. Okay, that's it. Don't go back before that. Right. A step down, step down. Okay, that's it. Okay. Watch your head and a step down. Just a step down and we'll get to ground. Slowly, get down, get down, get down. Okay. That's where the women joined in. There were steps at that time. And so they first went for the women and later the men. But they were never allowed to come together. They were always separated, even while on the ships. But they were asked to, and you have to bend very, very low, very low. Very low. Very low. Watch your head. Watch your head. Watch your head. Please move left, move left, move left. Please leave that side. So, gentlemen, move left. Gentlemen, move left, give us lights. Please, move left. Hello, move left. Okay. Watch your head. Watch your head. Watch your head. Watch your head. Sorry. Watch your head. Watch your head. Watch your head. Okay. So, this was the way out to the ship, the gates of no. They were down there at that time, and the sea was much closer. It's natural. So in those days, when the ships came anchored some distance away, they brought small boats down here to take them in chains before they were taken to the ship and off to the far away places. From there, the police sent their captive to the Caribbean and then to Brazil, to Suriname, Haiti, Guyana, and Java in Indonesia. The British did not use this castle for their trade. They used Cape Coast Castle. From there, they sent there to the Americas, the West Indies. Sometimes, the Dutch sold some of their captives who sent them to the Americas or to Europe, Liverpool area. Originally, there was a big opening here through which the Portuguese could send their goods to the ships. But slave trade started in the 16th century. These rebuilt this area, making it very narrow to prevent two or more from rushing to escape. Keeping them in a den for 1, 2 months, 3 months, and long walk from hinterland to this place, weak and lean. And so when the ships came, by all means, they could pass through here. And they were too weak to fight back. Out there was the ventilation, where they could get air. And they made the doorways very low, very small, very short. Because in those days, Europeans were small and short, but Africans were tall and stout. And so to be very difficult, stout African to run away through here without being arrested. So these things were made for security reasons. So, if Africans survive, this should remind you how strong we are. This is the gate of no return. God, no ship is waiting, so we are returning.
Dus maar goed dat er geen schepen meer wachten, dus gaan we terug kennen. Hier kwamen we.
Jorge, Nesam. This was one of the dungeons for the men, the smallest among the male dungeons. Here, between 40 and 70 men were packed in for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, depending upon the time the ships came to take them away. The conditions here were just like that for the female, no toilet facility. They were only given the containers placed at the corners. Everything was done here. So the longer they stayed here, the more died of poor ventilation, feeding, and sanitation. The dead bodies were just removed and thrown away into the ocean. When we removed the plaster work on the wall, we can still get to the old bricks and stones which were used to construct. And here are some of the old stones used to balance the ships. Sometimes their ships came empty, so they used these stones as ballast. Shall we continue? Move back. This is a water tank, a reservoir, a cistern. This was by the Dutch to store water. This could hold about 270,000 liters of water, not full. The castle from the Portuguese in 1637, the Dutch thought the Portuguese might have put poison into the cistern they made at the female dungeon. So the Dutch abandoned the Portuguese system, came here to make a new one. They never trusted each other. On the wall, here, a commemorative stone here by one of the Dutch governors, Governor Elmina, 28 February 1855, to remind people that he was also here. From here, we are going to the top to see where one of the Ashanti kings, King Brampa I, was as a prisoner by the British for fighting against them before he was exiled to Seychelles Island. Please, let's get to the top.
Too many people and it's going to be tricky.
Please come in, there's more space. Yeah, these two structures, this one and that, were originally built as watchtowers. They put soldiers up to spy to see whether enemies were around. But why Columbus ruled? Gorman was one of the Ashanti kings who was captured by the British in 1896. After the abolition of the slave trade, the British wanted to extend their jurisdiction, their power over the people. So there were so many wars fought between the British and the local people, especially with the Ashantis. At one time, the British conquered, at that time, the vice versa. But the last but one war, 1874, popularly known as Ashanti War, the British conquered the Ashantis. So the Ashantis were made to fulfill certain conditions. Some of the conditions were that the Ashantis were paid about 50,000 ounces of gold to the British. The Ashantis were to have the British traders to have free movement from the coast to the hinterland without any obstruction. The Ashantis were not to attack the coastal states, especially the Fantis, who were allies to the British. And there shouldn't be any human sacrifice when any of the Ashanti kings died. But soon, the Ashantis got a new king called Nana Apesi Adima Prempeh, who came and said, no way, I'm not going to obey the British. So again, the British sent a representative to Kumasi to oversee the activities of the king and his people. Again, the king protested by sending a high-powered delegation to Britain, asking the British government to withdraw their representative from Kumasi, but probably to avoid bloodshed. The British asked the Ashantis to hold a Durban, a festival, so that two countries come together to discuss matters affecting both sides amicably. But that was a trick that the British played. On a Durban ground, we don't carry arms. It's a peaceful day. Ashantis were holding the Durban, waiting for the British for the discussions. The British rather went there with their soldiers, surrounded them, and grabbed the king, together with some members of the royal family. They were brought here, held here for 4 years before they were taken to Freetown in Selelio for 1 year, and then to Seychelles Island for 23 more years. While here, those who were around the king, the sub-chiefs, were held in that room, while the king, his mother, and the two wives were here in this room for 4 years. In 1924, he was brought back to Seychelles, but died in Kumasi in 1931, 70 years after his return from the exile, but left the children he had over there in Seychelles. So till today, we have some descendants of the king there. In 1991, one of the great-granddaughters, a 14-year-old girl, came here with her father, Mr. Francis Prempeh from Seychelles, this place, and later went to Kumasi to get to their roots. They have soon left for Seychelles. And just 3 years ago, when our head of state, President J.J. Rawlings, went to Japan to receive award, when he was returning, he passed Seychelles to one of his daughters, an old lady who could still speak the local language, she in Seychelles. So they are Seychelles is in Indian of Madagascar, South Africa. So it's far away from here. Yes, sir. Coming of the where the castle is was a huge rock, and the Portuguese had to carry to get a level ground before they put on this castle. And so that huge rock that the Portuguese carried is part of it you see down there. So the rocks down there are natural rocks, extension of which the castle was built. And after the whole place was covered with the sea that was used as defense. There were tunnels in all those roads for defense. Let's continue. was an open kitchen. Open kitchen with a chimney. That was built by Dutch. That's where they cooked for their soldiers, the junior ranks, and then the captives. Open kitchen. And please, let's see some there on the beach. Yeah, those are broken walls down the beach. That was a pier, a jetty, a wharf or harbor built by Dutch for loading and offloading their goods. The sea was very close to the castle at that time. The coconut trees were not planted. The whole place was water. That was the natural harbor.
Okay.
That's the line taken to the sea. It's a small white tip, like the Cape Coast Castle. Cape Coast Castle.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Please come a little closer. Yeah. Please, let's look up there, far away, far end of land stretching into the sea. There's a small white thing at the tip. That's the Cape Coast Castle. Cape Coast. The British were there, and the Dutch were here. They were enemies to the Dutch. That's why the Dutch built sentry posts at all corners, where soldiers were made to stand watch to see whether British were coming. Let's continue. We've entered the governor's apartments. That small room over there was a private office. And this was the conference board where they held their meetings. The floor has been changed. It was changed in 1960, but it was a wooden floor originally. At that time they used fir and pine, which were all brought from Europe. But this is a local hardwood, this local oak. They call it Odum. Balcony, where the governor kept the grease, was stood there to address the soldiers down there. The iron is still there, the replica of what is there. Let's continue. This was the officers' mess, dining and dinner hall for the high-ranking officers. The Dutch governor, big men were eating, drinking, and then while the captives were suffering down in the dungeon. We are just above the female dungeon. Let's continue. Yeah, down we have the moats, two moats. The outer moat, the inner moat with a drum. These were constructed by the Portuguese as defense. There was in the first moat. And when there was any attack, that drawbridge was lifted so that no enemy would come in to attack. And that thing down there was a compass. Compass, they are Dutch, to help their ship captains to adjust their navigational compass. The north is here. That's north, south, east, and west. It was used as a sundial, sun clock. They put a pole at the center. They used the shadow to tell the time. Before the coming of the Europeans, there was a village. That small piece of land where they have made a short wall around, up to where we see the hut, where we see the smoke, where we have the road, up to where we see the coconut trees. That's where Edina was. Edina, that's the actual name for this town. Elmina or Amina or the Mina is Portuguese language. It means the mine, gold mine. And so that ancient village, Edina, used to be there. And that was destroyed by the British in 1873 for failing over their arms. They have made a short wall around that was made 7 years ago to protect the area for future archaeological excavations. These canals are all Dutch. These are original Dutch canals. It went as far as 3 kilometers when it was diffused. Please let out there on a hill. That's a fort. Fort Santiago. Fort Santiago. Say Portuguese. San means saint. And Iago means James. St. James. But originally, that was a small lodge built by Portuguese, 1558. That was where the Portuguese were going to church with the local people. First time that the Dutch attacked the Portuguese from the sea in 1596 made the Portuguese afraid. So the Portuguese left the lodge, came down here to build their proper church, Portuguese church, down there for security reasons. While the Portuguese were here, the Dutch were also at another village called Mauri. It's on Cape Coast, Accra Road, about 20 kilometers from here. Most probably, the local people became fed up with the activities of the Portuguese. And so some of the local people went to the village, Mauri, where the Dutch were, and directed the Dutch through the interior to the head. Because at that time, the whole place was forest. That's where the local people lived. And all along, the Dutch were attacking from the sea. They were not succeeding because the defense there was very strong. The Portuguese never thought of any invasion by any European power from the land. So their defense there was weak. So the Dutch, surprised by coming from there, of course, helped by the local people. Maybe the local people thought the Dutch would be better. I don't know. After the Dutch had taken the castle from behind in 1637, later, in the 1660s, Dutch thought it wise to develop Portuguese lodge into a fort. See today, put their soldiers there to watch the land so that no enemy will come from there, as they did to the Portuguese. That fort for Santiago, this castle, St. Jorge's Castle, or Elmina Castle, and Cape Coast Castle have all been declared free of the world's heritage monuments by UNESCO. 15 years ago, that used to be a guest house, but that was closed down to public because some of the facilities there were not functioning well. It's now that they want to rehabilitate it. Let's see something now. The area down there was the service workshops for the Dutch workers. That's where the Dutch workers lived and worked. Down there we have cistern, underwater tank. That was made by Dutch for their workers. In days, the sea was up to the wall. Where we see that coconut tree is now turned to football field. The whole place was water. That was part of the natural harbor. And then we have the stream that flows under a bridge. It enters the sea on our right. That's the Benya River, Edna Benya. We have low tide now. At high tide, the whole place will be flooded. And the boats can move in and out. The fishermen always wait for the high tide. They come in or move out. And up there on our right, where we have that long pole, was the watchtower. And beneath were the resident Dutch chief merchants. The commercial, that's where he lived. We can reach the tower by the line over there, but please, we are not going to climb up. So let's continue. Let's continue. This was a church built by the Dutch. Tenant Portuguese Catholic churches led miners. The Dutch were Protestants. They came here to build their own church, the Dutch Reformed Church, which later became Methodist Church here at Elmina, Methodist. Out there, we're talking about Psalm 132, verse 4. That is what is written in Old Dutch there. It is interpreted in this way, that Zion is the Lord's resting place. This is his eternal habitation. In short, they say that this is the holy place of God. He lives here always. Perhaps at that time, God lived here alone, nowhere else, not at the dungeons. 8 years ago, this hall used to be the district assembly, local parliament, the Elmina district. They have since left here for a new, better place. Shall we continue? The first room, that first room was the kitchen for the Portuguese officials, which the Dutch abandoned and came here to make a new kitchen. Portuguese kitchen, Dutch kitchen. When the Dutch came here, anything Portuguese was either destroyed or abandoned. Let's continue. Yeah, now the female dungeon. Those of you who just joined in, I will take you from here. Meanwhile, this is the balcony where the governor used to stand and look down there to pick one of the women. And the choice was made to come up through a small door. They call it the trap door. Here, trap door. Those men who were picked by the governor to be raped were made to come out through this trap door. the governor. This is the governor's bench. So part of the governor's residence, living room. The first room was the bedroom for the governor. And these two were the living rooms. That door is locked up. You could have seen the emergency for the governor. In case of mutiny or trouble, the governor had to run away through there. There was a staircase leading to the deputy governor's residence down there, from where the governor could run away to the harbor over there. And then on the right, inside there, used to be the governor's washroom, this is convenience, toilet. At that time, there was no WC. We were using it as timber pots. Bedroom, living room. The center we have W, that's the West Indies Company. West Indies Company, that company which can get trade. So, briefly, the castle was first built at Portuguese 1482. In 1611, the Dutch captured it. In 1872, the Dutch sold the castle to the British. But originally, the Portuguese came here to trade in gold and ivory. They used the rooms on the ground floor as their warehouses. But when the slave trade started in the 16th century, the storerooms were converted to dungeons to hold the cattle.
Never listen to a Portuguese say love again. He's just the favorite. Dude. Go back to the dark house. See that? Cemetery. Faith. Focusing some bullshit to a finger.
The home from time. Tune into Home Affairs, the program that educates and tries to bring solutions to home problems. Home Affairs at 9:05 a.m. every Saturday on Joy 99.7 FM. On Home Affairs, we help you build homes out of houses. This is brought to you in part by Home Appliances. Use the best. Use Bosch. Bosch Home Appliances. That's Home Affairs.
When you travel home, remember you can still be in touch with the very latest news if you can listen to your favorite superstation, Joy 99.7 FM, 24 hours live, regardless of where you're located on the bus. So remember to log on next time. Listen to relations abroad, tell them it's Joy Online and it's all free. Joy Online, linking clients around the world.
I can get it through.
Yeah, you can get it through.
That's what I'm getting from.
And it's happening right there on Joy 99.7 FM and Love 99.5 FM this Saturday and every day at 3 p.m. Can we really say no to sex? Find out this Saturday. Oh yeah, the Touchy News. Remember, Marshall, BB, Pusha.
Can you really say no to sex?
No, I can't. Can you? No, I can't say none to sex. Shit. What the hell? You know, I can see myself too.
Yeah.
Be like, how you got it? Hey.
Speak Easy is sponsored by the Ghana Social Mind Foundation, GSMF, in partnership with the Johns Hopkins Center for Communication Programs and produced by Advantage Production.
This is on the last day we came over to downtown, the haircut. This is Brian having his haircut. From here we go to the airport, and the barbering just costs almost 2,000 CDs. That is Ghana money and Africans money. CDs is the currency. It's just like $1 is the currency of Americans money, and this 2,000 compared to American money, the dollar, Brian, that's like 99 cents. Is it correct? Nothing more. That's like 99 cents for just this green hair. Anna. Yeah, because a whole cap for come on, it's possible.
I'm serious.
You're gonna be paying 99 cents. I'm gonna get a haircut every damn minute. And it looks so good.
This is the best cut I had.
That's right. And 99 cent Brian, I can believe it. And I'm serious what I'm saying. 99 cents for a haircut. Is that right?
Get that on there. Get that on there.
Right, and if you said no to what I said, this is the list. Okay, no credit, new class haircut in 2,000 flat. That is $2. That's 2,000. Yeah, they got a sporting waves for 5,000. That's rather $2. It's more. It's even $2. And then when you shave 500, which is like 3 cents. Oh God. How much is this? 3,000 CDs? Okay, that's 3,000. That's about $1.50. And then he said, "You are welcome." Oh man, attention. Please, if you know or not, for haircut, please away. Okay, that's restriction, but then with no gun, probably, some blow. And then, what is it over there? There should be any argument or confusion, man, or you end up with gun. Once again, please respect yourself. Thank you.